quit now. Came from the bottom, made it out the bricks now. Pain in my heart, but I still keep a big smile. Youngin' from the trenches, got the whole city lit now. Born champion, pressure made me stronger. Nights in the rain only made my hustle harder. Now every time I drop, they sing along louder. I survived the struggle, now my dreams getting larger. I remember cold nights, stomach touching backbone. Trying to stay focused when the people I love gone. Everybody switched up once the money got long. Now they saying that I changed cause I finally moved on. I was built from the pain and the losses. Street scars all over my conscience. Had to stay solid through the crosses. Not the same ones down watching progress. Young king, but I came from survival mode. Every day another lesson from the broken roads. Had to sacrifice peace, trying to chase goals. Now my mama finally smiling, that's worth gold. Born champion, I can't quit now. Came from the bottom, made it out the bricks now. Pain in my heart, but I still keep a big smile. Youngin' from the trenches, got the whole city lit now. Born champion, pressure made me stronger. Nights in the rain only made my hustle harder. Now every time I drop, they sing along louder. I survived the struggle, now my dreams getting larger. I done seen envy hiding behind handshakes. People praying on my downfall while I stay awake. Lost brothers to the system and the gunplay. That's why every move.
Equity smart is the new cool. So we are diving into our real estate series, not real estate investing. And you got to go back and look at those shows. We're on the home ownership kick today. And my special guest today is Dave Zhou with Flagstar Bank. And he's going to talk about lending, what they do at Flagstar Bank, formerly Ohio Savings, but they have sort of a national footprint. They're not just in Ohio. He'll talk about the places and the locations, and he'll talk a little bit about his career and how long he's been originating loans. And he's one of the few good ones that get loans done. I do have to say that. I always like to put loan officers to the test. Anybody can take anybody with a 780 credit score and get them done. Question is, can you take a person with a 580 to 620 and get them done? And get them done properly and get them done quickly and efficiently. And that's what he does. He stays with the transactions through and through. And he's going to share some of the programs and some of the initiatives today. And welcome to the show. Say hello to our audience. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been doing the mortgage business. And I know you've helped a lot of homeowners, so let's hear it.
Yeah, thank you, Julius. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I've been originating since 2021, so a little bit over 5 years, coming up 6 years. I've been in banking for almost 20 years. I was in the branches before, so I was as a personal banker. Then, made the move right after COVID. It was a good opportunity, and it felt like a natural fit for me. I can help people and help them get into homes, and it worked out for everybody. But yeah, as far as Flagstar Bank, a lot of time people were like, who's Flagstar, right? Around here. They're like, I see them everywhere, but I don't know who they are. But yeah, originally, AKA Ohio Savings. That's the brand recognition. But it got rebranded nationwide last, I think, 2024. We're in multiple states, so California, Michigan, New York, and etc.
Florida too, right?
Florida also, yeah. Correct. Yeah, we lend nationwide. I think for a while we were the go-to bank for like Puerto Rico. We did a lot of lending in Puerto Rico. Now
really?
Yeah, we did. We did. I think it got cut back a little bit now, but for a while we were known as that lender that does Puerto Rico. But yeah, like Flagstar was originally a mortgage company back in the days. It was a wholesaler. Then it started merging. Then was with the merger with New York Community Bank, which made it give us like a brick and mortar stores. Then as far as program wise, we have a plethora of different options, right? So we do the first time home buyer thing. We have a grant program that gives up to 3%. No area restriction. I think you just got to be under 100% average median income. I think that this year it bumped up to maybe like 102, 103. As long as your income less than 102, 103, you can qualify for that 3% down payment assist from us up to $7,500. And that can be used towards down payment or the closing costs. And also have a low to moderate income program in the CRA areas. 100% financing, no PMI. Then on the other side, we have a lot of portfolio loans that fits like a professional's. The professional loan is more like a similar to a doctor loan per se, but it's more like doctor loan plus, right? So it's not just medical professionals, it's not just doctors, also attorneys, what is it, like pilots, veterinarians, pharmacists, that helps those folks getting to their home with no down payment and no PMI. Once again, 100% financing. It's designed for those who are becoming affluent. Like for example, you just graduated med school, right? You want to upgrade your life. Your income has significantly increased, but you don't have $100,000 saved up for that 20% down on a $500,000 house. So this program allows you to get in there with no down payment. The idea is, you can upgrade right now instead of saving for a year or two while you keep paying rent. You can start building that equity, right? As we all know, the house price kind of goes up one ways. We keep hearing stuff in the news saying, "Oh, the market's going. Like, the market's not going down."
Not at all.
Like, I don't know where some of those guys are. Maybe in those super high value areas, like those markets, maybe you see a little decline. But around
like California and something is tapering off a little bit. But let me back up and just rewind a minute, because you said you started in 2020. Yeah, good backup there. You started in 2020, and your knowledge and expertise and understanding transactions is like, he's a very in-depth person when it comes to the products and services. So you know it, and you know a lot about the business. I talked to a lot of loan officers, and we've dealt with a lot of loan officers over the years, and you are very knowledgeable. And then I also wanted to back up with Flagstar, because I remember Flagstar back in the days, and I remember Ohio Savings back in the days. So I was really trying to figure out, like, how did these two get together? Because I knew Flagstar was a mortgage company doing business out here. And then, Ohio Savings, I knew they had some branches in Florida and Ohio and some other parts of the country. And then it's that you said a New York Community Bank or something like that came in. Yeah. So how did the three marinate together? Because I'm still not clear on that. That's a little fuzzy.
So New York Community Bank merged with Ohio Savings Bank. That was step one. Then they let this area keep its branding because it was recognized as Ohio Savings Bank. So in New York, it was New York Community Bank. Over here, it was Ohio Savings Bank. Right. Then Flagstar came into place. And then they merged again. So it's between Flagstar and New York Community Bank. So now all of a sudden they have all these different names, right? It's like, over here's this, over here's that, over there's different names. So they're like, we're just going to rebrand under one name nationwide under Flagstar Bank. So that's how Flagstar came to be. Okay.
That clarifies it. Okay. So tell us a little bit about, down payment assistance programs here. A lot of people say the down payment assistance programs are going away. Are there still down payment assistance in Northeast Ohio? Are they applicable in other areas?
Absolutely. So typically you have like the city, municipal, they have their own down payment assist. Then you have the county level down payment assist. So as far as I know, like around here, Cuyahoga has its own down payment assist, right? But then City of Euclid has its own, Lakewood has its own, Cleveland Heights has its own, then Summit County has its own down payment assist program. City of Akron, I think they're about to roll one out. I heard the mayor talk about it. They're like, maybe it was announced back in May, but I don't think it's being put in place yet. Then each individual lenders typically have something to stack on top of it. But yeah,
So let me ask you a question, interrupt you real quick. So when you say Summit County, does that include areas like Twinsburg, or are we talking about Summit County, Akron, essentially?
no, it's the whole Summit County.
Wow.
The
Okay.
entire Summit County has a down payment assist program. Now they do have an income restriction, right? So and it has a purchase price restriction.
Okay.
So sometimes when you go to those really affluent neighborhood, you kind of outprice yourself when trying to get the down payment assist.
Mhm.
Essentially, the pot of money is limited, right? It's
Right.
for people who are in need. So
Mhm.
if somebody wants to go buy a house that's in Summit County, that's like $500,000, you probably don't need any down payment assist program.
Right.
But yeah, like each municipal has its own, then we can layer that with the bank's incentive. Typically, the incentive from the banks are in the form of grant/gift, which does not clash with the down payment assist from the county or the city. Typically, which always 9 out of 10, it is some form of second lien, like a
Okay.
second loan on a house to make it more affordable. So you don't have to borrow as much on the first loan from the bank. Some of them are forgivable, like if you stay there for 5 years. Some of them can be completely forgiven. Some of them might be half forgiven. Then some of them it just becomes a no interest loan payable upon transfer, or you sell the house, you no longer live there as a primary residence.
Got it. Okay. So what are you seeing today in the trend? Are you seeing more? Because we see a lot of conventional transactions. Are you seeing more FHA or conventional? Between the two, what are you seeing more of?
So it depends on the loan officer you talk to. Some like a lot of loan officers are very niche. So there's
Gotcha.
a certain products they will focus on. So you talk to them, they tend to be like, oh yeah, I see a lot of this. Because you're focused on doctor's loans, right? That's all you see all day.
Right.
But like I dip my feet in like literally everything. I have a USDA going on right now, like
Okay.
VA, FHA, portfolio loans, non-QM loans. I do them all. I see more. I mean, the vast majority, not the vast majority. I would say the majority is the conventional product because
Gotcha.
those are the most flexible ones where you can do multiple down payment assists, cover the down payment. FHA is a great product. I love doing FHAs because I can do a 580 FHA, which conventional does not allow me to do. However, FHA, you have to come out of pocket at 3.5% for the down payment.
Exactly.
I can't use the grant money to cover that. It's got to be your own money. So sometimes that can be a pain point for some buyers. But yeah, like other stuff, I deal with a good amount of investors. So, bank statement loans, that's the non-QM stuff where people have unconventional income. But there is a loan out there for everybody. You just gotta find it. There's an option out there. Financing is out there. Some are more difficult to do, but I always love a good challenge. You got to learn it in order to understand how the product works. There's always weird, funny rules when it comes to these loans. Like one, that's another thing when it comes to, people talking about FHA and conventional is people think FHA is so much harder to do. It's not, as long as you understand the parameters.
Yeah, you know what you're doing. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, like you're like, oh, I think the conventional apply to FHA. You give out a pre-approval, then somebody comes with a deal. You're like, oh, oops, no, it doesn't work. Then that's a bad taste for everybody, right? It's like the agents waste their time looking for a house. The buyer's super disappointed. Maybe they got to, put in 20 offers, all got beat out. They finally got an offer in. Then I have to tell them no. So we don't want to do that. Typically, for us loan officers, we should be underwriters on wheels, right?
Okay.
We should understand how underwriters think. We should not have to submit something and for the underwriter to tell me no. Like I need to understand underwriting guidelines. When I have nothing else to do, I read that underwriting guideline. Like, just to understand how the product works, because I don't want to try to throw something against the wall and make it stick. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't hurt me, but it's a bad rep for everybody.
Exactly. And what happens is your success rate dictates how many more loans you're going to get from a real estate agent bringing transactions. So if I bring you 2 transactions and they don't fly, I'm probably not going to come back to you.
Absolutely.
Or if I bring my first transaction to you and it doesn't close, I'm going to question whether I should come back to you or not. And if I would have moved it over here, would it have closed? So that's important to really know the product because, again, you're the frontline underwriters. So when you talk to a loan officer, they shouldn't just be, taking orders like you do at a restaurant and putting it back there for the cook. They should know, hey, this probably won't fly, or hey, we should be able to get this done, but here are the 3 hurdles we're going to have. So at least the client is prepared up front for what they may be looking at versus getting hit in the dark and they think you're going to get it done and you just say, well, let's just give it the old college try and submit it and see what happens. That dog done hunt.
No, that's like waste of time for everybody.
Right.
And also a major thing is you need to understand tax returns for a lot of loan officers, right? Now, there are tools out there for lenders where you can upload tax return. They'll kind of calculate, the AI kind of calculates it for you, but still good to understand how the tax works. That's probably one of the biggest challenge when I was starting. It's like, I'm not a tax person. Like, I use HR and Block. That's what I did when I was filing my taxes. All of a sudden, you give me a Schedule C and Schedule E. I'm like, what? But, as you go through it, as you dig more and more into it, you start reading more and more into that, then you understand how the math works. And ultimately, it's a numbers game. Mm-hmm. Numbers don't lie. This is what it is, right? This is the income that's showing. And sometimes it requires you to explain to the agents and the borrower the situation, right? Hey, this is like, I always tell people, like, I can get you a loan, just were you willing to listen to me, right? Like, hey, this is your income situation. If you are here saying you're making $2,000 a month, you're trying to get a $1,500 a month mortgage, it's not going to work because the bank's going to look at it as like, you're not going to be able to eat.
The math ain't mapping, as they say.
Exactly. It's not going to work. So you kind of have to make yourself more lendable to lenders just based on your income, your credit, and your asset situation. And sometimes if you're lacking certain departments, 3 pieces to a pie, I usually say when it comes to mortgage, credit, asset, and income. One part is lacking, the other 2 can supplement. If your credit's lacking, then if you have good income, you have a nice chunk for the down payment, that can supplement that. That's not a problem. Now, if your credit's A1, but you're like, hey, I don't have much, that's okay. I'll put people in houses with no money out of pocket. They get a refund at the time of closing. No, that's very doable. But it's got to be within reasonable numbers, right? Like purchase price and your income level and all that stuff.
Well, here's one, and you can keep track of my pitch count, but here's the first pitch. What about a land contract conversion and there's equity in there? Are those deals easier to be done?
I mean, that's it. That's basic. If the liens are already recorded, that's a refi.
Right.
That's a refi.
Sure.
So that can be done. That's not.
And that can be done on stated income or income statements too.
That can be done on non-QM side, correct? Not stated income, but it's more like
bank statement.
Bank statement.
That's what I mean.
Bank statement income. Yeah, they just take an average of your bank deposits. So we bypass tax returns and use that as income.
Now, how do they do that with businesses? Are they have a formula that they use to take out numbers in that?
So for business income, it gets kind of wild for the bank statement loans. They're like because one of the big thing for lending is like cash is no, right? You talk to any lender is like, yeah, don't deposit cash. Cash is bad.
Yes.
We can't trace it. We can't verify. It's a bad thing. Bank statement loan doesn't care about cash deposit. That's your income. Because you get cash for your business. It's reasonable. You can deposit it. That's your income. Now, the only time I would say for bank statement loan that gets kind of funny is when people take Cash App as a form of payment. And the problem with Cash App specifically is because the deposit goes in the Cash App, then it pulls into your bank account. So it looks like it came from you, like your name. So if it's a Zelle transfer, that's okay because it came from a person, business income.
Right.
But Cash App, it gets kind of funny. So a lot of times people was like, hey, I'm going to take Cash App as a form of payment. You might have to go pull the statement for Cash App to verify who all that money come from. They don't care where it came from. They just want to know it didn't came from you, not you putting money in yourself. Then that's not income.
Right. Yeah, because you're just putting capital back into the business.
Right.
And they want just business accounts or personal, or which one do they go by?
Can be commingled, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Because now if you're like a C corp, right, that's a little bit different. Like
Okay.
you can be like, oh yeah, I'm running my C corp stuff through my personal account. But typically the people who does the business account are the one that's like a S corp, LLC, sole proprietorship. So those, a lot of times funds get commingled between personal and the business.
Absolutely.
It happens because you're the sole owner. You own it 100%. Like what's mine is mine. What's the business is mine too. Everything's the same. So they allow the commingling of those accounts. You can submit multiple bank statements. It doesn't have to be one statement. You can do up to 3.
Okay. And then, so you said with the C corporation, it's a little problematic.
Yeah, the C corp, because like it usually C corp business deposit runs through C corp. You don't typically run C corp stuff through your own personal account.
Right.
It gets kind of like you might getting some, I don't know, don't quote me on this. You might getting some tax issues if you
Right.
start running like C corp income through there, because S corp is all yours. You just take the distribution by the end of the year. Sole proprietorship, LLC, you put on a what you call it? Schedule C. So that runs in your personal tax return. So those can be mixed up but C corp sometimes gets a little bit funny. You can still get a K1, but ideally if you have other partners in C corp, or like if it's a partnership, then there are certain restrictions what can be considered as business income, what cannot be considered as business income. So when you go to C corp, it gets kind of funny. You just gotta be careful. But S corp, you just take a distribution by the end of the year as a K1. But if you say, hey, some of my stuff I take it on the side by LLC, sole proprietorship, it's really easy. But yeah, that's like the unconventional way to go, using your properties to leverage it and get some loans. That's one of the beautiful thing about real estate is you're able to leverage it, right? Leveraging a real estate. And I've talked to so many investors who are like, I have all these houses free and clear. I can't get any money out of it.
Wow.
Because my tax return doesn't show what the bank wants to see. So this is one way to get around it.
Exactly. Now, what about trust? How do they come into play?
So revocable trust is okay. So
Irrevocable is where you had a problem.
irrevocable gets kind of funny. Like living trust, revocable trust, pretty much the same. So because you can put stuff in, take money out, you have full control. It can't be changed. Irrevocable means you've given up ownership of your assets to the beneficiary. So what I see a lot of times would be somebody who's older, decide to put their house in the irrevocable trust, make their kids the beneficiary. Now, I think down the road, I think there's a lot of tax benefit and also maybe long-term care. That's like one of the main things for estate planning. We talked to a state lawyer. I think there's like a 5-year cool down. They had to get rid of all their assets in order to qualify for long-term care. So that's why people do that, because long-term care can get very expensive.
Huge. Yeah, that's huge.
I done a loan for this lady. Her mom's in long-term care. She did a loan on the house, just to pay the long-term care bill. I think she was telling me it's like $20,000 a month. It was insane.
Wow.
Yeah, so that money can be gone really quick, right? So to protect your asset, to pass down the wealth, that's an avenue a lot of time people take. However, once it goes into irrevocable, you say, I don't own that property anymore. If you no longer own it, then you have no authority to borrow against it. The people who has to okay it are the beneficiary.
Yeah, but if you got 1 or 2 beneficiaries and you and I the beneficiaries and he owns the property, I mean, he's the trustee. If we sign off on an irrevocable trust, allowing him to get a loan,
that's okay.
He could do it as long as we get the approval.
That's okay. Correct.
Yeah.
As long as the beneficiary okays it, because the beneficiary are the actual owner of the property.
Exactly.
Not the grantor who's initiated the trust.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I was just curious about that. And then obviously that beneficiary would have to document the income or whatever. They show the statements from the trust, right? Not necessarily the individuals?
No, you don't necessarily need to use the trust income to qualify. You can use personal income to qualify.
Okay.
The trust thing is more like I'm granting you authority to lien against the house.
Right. Okay.
Right. That's more of the trust thing, because not all trust generates its own income. Some do.
Exactly.
But a lot of them are just a holding company, sort of just holds my assets, right, to pass down to the next generation. So it's not actually generating wealth for me. So there's no income per se you can use.
Okay.
But the beneficiary say, okay, hey, I want to be on a loan, or the grantor who initiated, who's still living in the house, the elder, they say, hey, I'm going to be the person on the loan. So the two of them can be take a loan out together. The house stays in the trust. They're using their personal income to qualify.
Now, a couple of years ago, I had 2 back-to-back VA deals. And the VA deals popular. They're coming back. What's the story? Because I was like, where are these deals? And they came on rehabs, and they were veterans buying houses in Northeast Ohio. I know some of my listeners are in, Maryland and California and all that. San Diego, they got big, large military bases, part in Keelan, Texas, and different areas. So VA is very common, but when you get Northeast Ohio, we don't have a lot of VA deals. Are you seeing more of a tick up in veteran deals?
I'll probably do maybe like 3-4 of those every year.
Okay.
So it's not like a whole bunch, right?
Right.
But every time I talk to somebody, one of the questions when we go through a loan process, are you a veteran?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the questions we have to ask, right? So now,
Sure.
if that is the case, typically that is a great product to go.
Absolutely.
No down payment, no PMI, and the rates are very nice. You can get into a house with some seller concession. All of a sudden, you don't need to come out of pocket anything to buy a house, right?
Yeah.
So it's a great product. It's just not everybody can qualify for it unless you're a veteran or a spouse of a veteran. Then you can qualify. And also another thing with the VA is the cosigner thing, right? So there's a restriction on who else can be on the VA loan with you besides the veteran.
Okay.
Has to be a spouse if the spouse is not a veteran. Can be another veteran, but it can be
Can be kids.
Cannot be kids, cannot be brother and sisters, cannot be none of that stuff.
Wow.
Now, if a veteran that was deceased and the spouse probably still has access to that veteran's benefits, then that spouse can still do a VA loan if their husband or wife was a veteran that has passed away. Okay. Now, a lot of people don't know that. They just assume I'm not a veteran, I don't qualify. However, that's part of our job when we talk about it. Are you a veteran? Then sometimes people will be like, no, my deceased husband was a veteran. We're like, oh, okay. Did you ever dig into that you have that benefit? Then, that is the best way to go if you can help it. Just because it's so beneficial for the borrower. Mm-hmm. And they also, I think, maybe it was 2 years ago, they did lower that funding fee for the VA loan. So that's another thing people don't understand how VA works is they do charge a percentage of the fee and roll that into the loan. So your loan is actually bigger than a purchase price by a little bit.
Because it's already 100% finance, and then when you roll the fee in, it goes up to 105, 103, or whatever it goes up to.
Yeah. Or if you're like disabled or discharged, then that fee gets waived, which is kind of nice. So there are certain exceptions that can be made. But yeah, like I right now I'm doing that USDA thing. Like I don't do a whole lot of those.
Oh, those are sweet.
They
go as low as like a 500 credit score, and they don't need any money down. But it's got to be 5 acres or something like that. Doesn't?
No.
What's the story with that?
So that has an income restriction, and it has a location restriction. So it has to be a rural area. The one I'm bumping into right now is in Aurora. So
Aurora's got a lot of USDA areas out there.
Aurora, then Chesterland qualifies, Ravenna qualifies. So you kind of have to go out a little bit. You can't be like, oh, I'm right near where the city. That doesn't work. But same thing, you can go. I mean, the income restriction, that's the quirk is like they go by household income. So whoever is not on a loan, but they're in the same household, their income counts towards the restriction limit.
Now, when you say restriction limit, is a restriction on the income portion, or what do you mean by restriction?
So I think around here is about 119,000 or something like that.
Okay.
So the household income cannot exceed that limit. Now you can say I have a borrower who makes 100,000, let's say husband and wife, right? The husband makes 100,000. In a normal loan sense, I can say the wife it doesn't want to be on the loan, so her income doesn't count. I can strictly use the husband's income to qualify for any loan products. However, in the USDA situation, you're in the same household. So regardless if the wife's income is being used for the loan, the income is going to count towards that USDA restriction.
Got it. Yeah.
But if you can qualify for it, it's a great deal. Same thing. It's just like a VA. The funding fee is lower.
So why do you think people don't use that? Because they don't know, or they're not moving in rural areas? What do you think that's all about?
I think people are just not aware.
Yeah.
They're just not aware that's the option down there, because, I mean, technically Ravenna, that's not that far.
No.
It's not Chardon. It's a bit out there, but it's not that far. But you can get so much more bang for your buck out there. The price is insane. And you got to think about it. Eventually, as the population grows, right? People are going to go start going out there. Just like all cities, like you start in a cluster, people start going to the suburbs. As the population grows, it gets better. And, it could be a very desirable area. The first house I ever bought when I was like 20 years old, my mom helped me. That house was like in a farm, like across from a farm, like literally from a farm.
Wow.
And now that's like a very desirable area, like in East Coast area.
Okay.
I mean, the houses being around there being sold for like a brand new townhouse down the street from that house is like $1.2 million starting.
Wow.
It's not.
What city was this around?
Rockville.
Okay.
In Maryland.
Okay. Oh yeah. I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So before it was like at the end of the metro, like the subway system for DC. Before it's like I don't want to go out there. It's the end, right? But I was growing up there. Certain cities right now they're super desirable, but like Frederick in Maryland area.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, Frederick before it was like, oh, that's middle of nowhere. I don't
You
want
talking
to go to Frederick.
Frederick or Well, yeah, you talking about Frederick, not Fredericksburg, Virginia, but Frederick.
Frederick, Maryland. That was one of those areas like I don't want to go out there. That's so far. But now it's like, oh my God, I want to move there because it's a desirable area. It's just population grows. Right. People start needing more space and more population cluster happens and more business gets built out. Then it becomes, like a suburbs.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Yeah, there's some good observations. So we've talked a little bit about conventional, FHA, USDA. We talked a little bit about the statement loans. Let's talk a little bit about portfolio loans before we wrap up.
Yeah, of course. Portfolio loans, there's the construction loans, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's for people trying to build a house. Now, typically, you buy a new construction, you can go to a large builder like Ryan Homes, Pulte, K Hovnanian. They carry the financing, and then you kind of just come in the end with a loan to buy the house off their hand.
Sure.
But sometimes people want to buy their lot and do a custom build. A lot of people want to do that.
A lot of that's going on.
Right. So now for those, you require a construction loan, which not every lender likes to touch because it's a little bit complex.
Very few lenders touching that. Who's touching them?
Yeah,
a lot of people don't want to do construction loans anymore.
Exactly. Like
that's off the table since the market crash.
Yeah. So construction loan typically is you have a draw period during the construction, so you basically get a line of credit, right? Then you determine how many draws you have with your builder. So typically, every time you draw, there's a fee.
Yep.
Right. So you kind of want to.
So if you have 5 draws versus 3 draws, then the buyer's paying more fees to take down that money, right?
Exactly. So you kind of want to be like, if you don't have to draw all the time, let's not draw all the time to save you some money, right? But yeah, during that time period, as they draw, you're going to pay interest on the interest that's being accrued. Okay. At the end of the construction period, you term out. Now there is one question I get asked is like, what if the rate changes after a year, right? Am I locked in right here? Or there is a flow down option. So right before you term out, we do assess, is the market rate cheaper? Okay. You do it one time. It can't be like, well, I did it, and then 2 days later it went down again. That's off the table. Okay. We assess it one time right before closing. It's coming down, then we'll give you the market rate to save you some money, right? But if it goes up, no, it's not going to affect you.
No deal. All bets are off.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, what's the one thing you want people to know about you and Flagstar Bank?
We make deals happen over here. Like, we close loans, right? So that's the most important thing. We close. We close on time. That's the most
really important.
Yeah. I mean, that's to all the realtors I work with. Closing on time is extremely important. Like, we're not like, when I came to this bank, I was like, I can close a loan within 24 hours after it's clear to close. Like,
that's huge.
What? Okay.
That's huge, because normally when you get a clear to close, which means that the lender finally approved you, they still got to get the package over to the title company.
Yep.
And that normally takes, I need 48 hours or 72 hours or something to get the package over.
Yep.
And you got to push it back out. So that's significant.
Yeah. And we can do short closes. It's not just always, oh, you got to give me 30 days for this, 45 days for that. If it's a deal, it's a deal. We'll make it happen, right? If everybody's on board, the processing team is great on my end. So we're communicating very well. Hey, this one takes priority. Work on this right now for me.
Yeah.
I got to get this one done. Okay, I got you. So we push that one through, right? Purchases are treated like gold over here. We do not want to miss that closing date. Like, by all means necessary. Now, certain situations, we have problem with appraisal, with title. Those are not within our control, or the borrower just not responding. And believe me or not, I will hound the borrower. If, hey, you're not responding to me? And
to make sure that they stay on track, because that's the lifeblood of our business. I don't know what the percentage are, but there are very high percentage of loans that do not close on the dates in the contract.
Mm-hmm.
Almost, I'm just looking within my office, I would say 8 out of 10 deals don't close on the date, or maybe 9 out of 10 deals. They need a day or a week or extension for something. And some of that's not on the lender. Some of it's on title, some of it's on the seller, people traveling, buyer not getting documentation in, but you're closing on time. That's what everybody wants to hear. That's major.
I think I saw a research the other day that was saying, like, has something to do with, if you don't close on time, then all of a sudden there's a much higher chance of falling out. They're like percentage wise.
Oh yeah, I can believe that.
Yeah,
I can believe that. I can see that.
The deals typically, if closes within 30 days, much lower chance of falling out. Now, if the ones that start exceeding 30 days, then there's a much higher chance of falling out. So in the eye of a seller and the agents, right, you want to make sure everything goes through on time, just for everybody's sake. And we're here to help. I communicate with the buyers. I communicate with the agents, whether it's a seller's agent or the buyer's agent. I just keep everybody in the loop. Right.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Communication is important. Like, if something is funny is happening, like, I will let you know, so we're on the same page. So
Absolutely.
We're not going to hit you in the blind side like 2 days before closing. Hey, now we have a problem. That's like the agent's worst nightmare.
Yeah. And then now we need these documents that we should ask for, when we took application, but now or when it came out of underwriting, but now we need this to get it clear to close. That drives everybody crazy. I know it drives me nuts.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Well, thank you for joining another podcast. Thank you, David, for coming on. And Flagstar Bank, support them. We support them at Dream Team Realty. We support them in our magazine, House Notes magazine, and look forward to seeing David coming up on House Notes TV. He's going to be featured there, and he's doing a great job of closing transactions for the team at Dream Team. He's doing wonderful work. So keep Flagstar in mind wherever you are located. I'm sure there's another great loan officer like David in that particular city or state. Once again, this is Equity Smart is the new cool, and not having a good loan officer is not cool. Not closing your deal on time is not cool. So make sure you stay cool in this hot weather and deal with a major player and somebody that knows the business, knows the product, can help you get paid, can help you get your home, can help you as an investor, help you as a builder to close that deal. I'm Julius Cartwright. Before we sign off, subscribe to our podcast and stay tuned for more episodes. Great information we're going to be bringing you around homeownership. Thank you. Godspeed.
Days we was walking out of Forest Park, still connected to the block even after dark, cause the trenches left permanent scars on my heart. I prayed for these moments while sleeping on floors. Now I'm opening doors they said impossible before. From the cell blocks to sold out tours, I kept believing even when life felt at war. And I know depression never stopped, but neither do I. Champions survive everything. Final day. Born champion, watch me rise higher. Turn all the pain and struggle into fire. Now the fans scream loud when they hear us. Came from nothing, now the whole world near us. Born champion, never fold under pressure. Every loss taught me how to move better. If you came from the struggle, keep your head up. One day your pain gon' turn into success too.